Now this is an independent essay, meaning there was no reading, there was no lecture. You come up with the ideas yourself. Here is the writing prompt. People attend college or university for many different reasons. For example, new experiences, career preparation, increased knowledge. Why do you think people attend college or university? Use specific reasons and examples, blah, blah, blah. Let's jump into this. Since few years ago, article. Now we had article problems before. Remember, since a few years ago, and this is more of a kind of a phrase, a few years, many people is. People is. What is this? Again, our old friend, noun-verb agreement. It's not really our friend, is it? So, noun-verb agreement, you got to know how to conjugate, basic. People are attending. Plural. People are attending university for several reasons, such as for getting new people. Here, I think this is just a vocabulary mistake. I think you meant to say maybe meeting new people or getting to know new people. But either way, getting new people doesn't really make sense because we don't actually get the people, hopefully. In college, that would be a strange situation. We get to know people or we meet people, okay? So learning a particular field of study is another option, or even to build a networking. Now the problem here, build a, is that networking is a non-count noun. It's the idea of going out and meeting people. We don't say a networking. You can say network, right? We can build a network, which is a count noun. I have one network here, I have two networks over there. We think of a network as a thing, and we can count it. But networking, which is an activity, we can't really count. So that's the big difference here. So you either need to change this to build a network or increase networking, etc. I think we could probably just change this to a count noun, can't we? Even to build a network. Okay, moving along. What are the main factors that push people to attend university? I strongly believe that the major factor that pushes people today to attend university is to have new experiences and increase their knowledge. Great, so we've laid out, we know you're going to be talking about new experiences and you're going to be talking about increasing your knowledge. Very good use of your thesis and explaining what the essay is going to be about, introducing it in the main paragraph, okay, the introductory paragraph. I feel this way for two main reasons, which I will explain in the following essay. Now here, it's my personal opinion as a teacher and as a writer that you don't have to say this, okay? This is not necessary. I feel this way for two main reasons, which I will explain in the following essay, because you go on to explain it in the following essay. I don't, and you've already said the main two reasons, so I think this is unnecessary. That's my personal opinion. Would you lose points if you wrote this? I don't think so. I don't think you would lose points, but this is just a personal style, and it's a little bit redundant, meaning you've already said it, you don't have to say it again, so I don't think you really need this. All right, here we go. The first main idea should be new experiences. Let's see if it is. First, the people is attending college for having new experiences. Perfect, great, we're on the right track. However, here is a mistake. What is this mistake? It's our old friend, noun-verb agreement. At this point, you should all be seeing this. This is clearly a mistake that we're making again and again, which is easy to fix. So, people, plural, not people is, people are attending college for having new experiences. These experiences might be to get to know new people from other countries or even to get a girlfriend or boyfriend. Who knows? You never know who you'll meet in college. There is several relevant information. Several is singular or plural? It's plural, right? Several, lots, many of them. Is singular. Noun-verb agreement. There, everyone all together, are several relevant information related to this subject. Now here, this gets a little tricky because information is a non-count noun. We can't count it. So I think what we really want to do is let's go back and let's change this. There is a lot of, right? We're not doing a count noun. It's a quantity. There is a lot of relevant information related to this subject. Now we have a perfect sentence. So reviewing this, if you have several, this can't be singular, right? This can't be singular. We need to change this to plural. There are several. Not there is. There are several. However, to make this sentence make sense, because information is non-count, there is a lot of relevant information related to this subject. Okay. Next sentence. For instance, the economist points out that millennials are. Now here, I highlighted this. Over here I wrote, careful how you use references in this essay. Now the independent essay is supposed to be information that comes from you. This isn't information that you research over weeks and weeks. You don't have citations. You don't have to say, oh, I found this on Wikipedia or I read this in The Economist. It's my personal opinion that you probably shouldn't use specific references in this way because it seems a little out of place. It's great that you read this article, but the way we phrase it, we don't want to make it sound like we're sitting there with a computer open or an economist open, because that's not allowed on the TOEFL. So it just feels out of place a little bit. So from a content or maybe even a context, a style perspective in writing in English, and especially for the TOEFL, I think that we should either rephrase this or not use specific references like The Economist. You could say, just to change this, for instance, I recently read, can your teacher actually spell in English? Yes, he can. Recently read an article in The Economist which pointed out that millennials are more interested in universities that offer them entertainment and fun than universities with a wider field of studies. So what's the difference between saying there's an article about this in The Economist and I recently read an article? What's the difference? Well, the difference is one is a citation of existing documents somewhere, which is out of place in the TOEFL. It doesn't make sense. However, the other is what we call an anecdote. If you don't know what an anecdote is, you should. Use anecdotes as opposed to citations. Okay? An anecdote is a story. For my Russian speakers, there is a word in Russian, anecdote. An anecdote means a joke in Russian. It's not the same thing. If you don't speak Russian, ignore that. If you do speak Russian, make sure you're using this word correctly. Anecdote does not mean joke. Anecdote is a story. And your independent essay definitely should have stories in it because those are very good examples, personal examples, which make your essay strong. It's easy to think of the content, and it makes your writing a lot better and much more interesting, which it should be because people have to grade this. So here we've used an anecdote, a story. One time I read this article versus a citation. There is an article that says. Hopefully that makes sense. If you have any questions about this, leave them in the comments below and I'll do my best to answer them. Okay, more interested in universities that offer them entertainment and fun, because we're talking about new experiences, than universities with a wider field of studies. I have lived this from a very close friend. I think this is just a vocabulary issue. Maybe I have experienced this. I'm not exactly sure what term we were trying to use here, but lived this from a very close friend doesn't actually make sense, right? We live something, it can mean an experience, but we wouldn't use it in this context. When I took a leadership course at the same university that my friend was enrolled, we need a preposition in here. We can say enrolled in or where my friend was enrolled. but not just that my friend was enrolled. Okay? So we can see that my friend was enrolled in, just to make this work. I was stunned of how much young students were focused on getting to know or get close to the girls, even my friend. They did not attend their classes just for being hanging around outside classes. Okay, so we're going to get to the structure of this sentence, but let's talk about this right here. This is an issue of preposition. I was stunned by. So the preposition with the verb stun is by. I was stunned by how much young students were focused on, etc., etc. So you know, if you've studied English, verbs have specific prepositions that go with them. We just have to learn them. It's a pain in the ass, but you got to do it. Okay? So the preposition for stun is stunned by. I was stunned by, let's go ahead and make this correction, by how much young students were focused on getting to know or get close to the girls. Even my friend, they did not attend their classes just for being hanging around outside classes. So I think this is just a little bit of a confused sentence. We're kind of repeating things here and there. Let's go ahead and clean it up a little bit. I was stunned by how much young students were focused on getting to know or get close to the girls. In English, and it's different in every language. Some languages, when you write, they want lots and lots of clauses or separate ideas within one sentence. And the more clauses you can use, the more advanced your writing is. English is not this way at all. We don't like really short sentences with one clause, but we don't like really long sentences with lots and lots of clauses. In general, as a rule, you should only have like 2 main separate ideas that you would connect with a comma. Now, if you have a list, you can say, well, I like to go to movies, comma, the beach, comma, the mountains, comma, the desert, comma, my friend's house, comma, and a shopping mall, period. But that's different. You're making a list, so you can have lots of commas. If you're talking about separate ideas, you're talking about separate clauses, you really shouldn't have more than 2, maybe 3 if you're able to work it in. So there's just too much going on here. Let's reduce the number of commas and eliminate this run-on sentence. I would put a period here, right here. New idea. Even my friend. Not they. Even my friend did not attend his classes. Just to hang around outside other classes, right? To meet girls. So that's a little bit better. We've taken care of the run-on sentence and we've made it a little bit more coherent. Coherent meaning understandable. This situation for me was a clear reason why young people attend university today. All right, moving along. The second main idea, which should be about, if we're still following the format, it should be about increasing knowledge, right? Let's see if it is. Second, many people, even more millennials, attend university focused only in learning specific fields. So second, many people, comma, even more millennials, because this is like a separate little thing. Millennials. So what's the problem here? Aha, one more time. I don't know, there might be another one. Verb noun agreement. Millennials attends. Attends would be it, singular. It attends. He attends. She attends that university. Millennials is singular or plural. We have an S on the end, it's plural. If we were to replace millennials with a pronoun, we would replace it with they. Millennials are all the same. They listen to EDM, right? The pronoun to replace it is they, and when we conjugate, they, no S, attend. Millennials attend university, focused only in learning specific fields. Verb noun agreement. It is by far the #1 mistake that this essay, and the integrated included, and it's a very common mistake with a lot of my students. Okay, almost done. Many of them thinks. You're killing me. Verb noun agreement. Are we starting to see a pattern here? Okay, we're starting to see some repeated mistakes, I think. Verb noun agreement. I think after this student sees this video, they will fix this mistake for sure. Many of them, we're still talking about millennials, think that university sometimes might be a waste of time. There are some studies which show shows verb noun agreement. There are some studies which show, because studies, plural, which show that the youth are not that interested in finishing a career as prior generations used to think and do. I had a closest experience, which is a good compelling of this. So we'll talk about this vocabulary over here. But closest, a closest. The problem here is with the article a. And I'll explain it here. So the article a is indefinite, meaning not specific, it's general. I have a friend, he loves tacos. I'm not saying which very specific friend, I'm just saying I have a friend. It's not really specific, okay? I have a friend that loves to go to the movies. I'm not really getting super specific. If I go on from there, I'll say, the friend that I mentioned earlier who likes tacos. Well, now I'm getting specific. But in general, just we say a. It's indefinite, okay? But the term closest, now closest is what we call a superlative. Superlative means the most of something. It's the hottest day of the year. It's the coldest room in the house. It's the most of something. There's only one. The closest experience. If there's only one, it's specific, and we can't use a right here, okay? Now, I'm not really sure about the meaning of this sentence, so I can't really talk about the use of closest experience as an accurate vocabulary word, but I had a closest experience, which is a good compelling of this. I think you mean to say I had a, I think because it's specific, right? Superlative, it's specific. The closest experience I had which is a good example of this was when, getting a little complicated here, my youngest brother left the university after learning some specific IT subjects, which gave him the necessary skills to create his own marketing webpage. Finally, he left. See, now we have a problem because we've combined two sentences and we're getting a run-on sentence, which we talked about up here. It's too many ideas, so we got to break up these sentences. The closest experience I had, which is a good example of this, was when my youngest brother left the university. Period. Okay? New idea. What happened? After learning some specific IT subjects, which gave him the necessary skills to create his own marketing webpage, he left the university and dedicated himself to his own business. This was another factor that made me realize how new generations view the university. Now here, university is a general term, so we probably wouldn't use the. All right? In conclusion, young people today are attending university just for convenience and just for the purpose of having new experiences. Perfect. We are repeating our main ideas. However, you don't need to capitalize young people, but also to take advantage of what the university might offer them in order to learn new skills and put it in practice even before finishing school. Right? Okay. So, in summary, these essays are good. They're good essays. If we made a couple of corrections to the mistakes we repeated over and over again, these essays would get a good score. But because we repeated the same mistakes, the articles, a, an, and the, and of course, noun, verb, or verb-noun agreement, we would lose points because we repeated those mistakes over and over again. So, in summary, the writer of this essay would need to work on, number 1, verb, noun, agreement. Number 2, articles, definite versus indefinite. Okay? A and the. Those are the biggest mistakes. If I were to throw anything else in there, I would say run on sentences. Okay. This particular student would get all of these items in exercises and homework sent to them. But for that, you'll have to go ahead and check out the program. If you do have any questions, if you would like your essay graded like this, or if you'd like to work one-on-one with myself or our TOEFL expert team, go ahead, go to englishsimple.org, check out the program, and of course, if you have any questions, shoot us an email at support@englishsimple.org. This is Adam, the lead instructor with englishsimple.org. I wish you a lot of luck, and don't forget to keep it simple.